Hello and welcome back to the series, everybody. I seem to have got myself stuck in a block by ender pearling up here somehow. Let's see if I can just jump out of there. There we go. So between episodes, I have done quite a lot. What? I keep just walking around the village here, and every now and then I just spot a little random block placed by endermans. It's the most random thing. Alright, so what I did between episodes is I've done a bit of planning, which we'll get into in a bit, and after one mumbo jumbo video and 3 attempts, we have now got this working 3x3 piston door. So this thing right here is my first ever actual piston door, and as you can see, you can close it from the inside here, but if I go outside by just breaking through, which of course is illegal, everyone knows that, but if I try to open it from the outside, you can see that I actually can't. So if I'm closing it from the inside while, say, running away from someone for some reason, then, well, they won't be able to follow me. But on the inside here, we've now got all of our things sorted here and pretty much all moved in. Also here, we've got the enchanting table set up, and I've set this up so it retracts, and this is now a level 30 enchantment table. I've also got a couple workstations here and some anvils and some room to expand more corridors. But now, why don't we talk about these? These right here is my plan for the rest of this village. I don't usually plan out my buildings, I just kind of build them as I go and have a rough idea in my head of what I'm going to do. But I thought I'd put these down just to see where I'm going to go and what buildings I have left to put in. So up here, up on this sort of cliff, upraised hill thing, we're going to have our greenhouse. This greenhouse is going to have probably like a automatic honey machine, as well as honeycomb, so we can get all those lovely blocks. Also, it's just going to look really nice and add a bit of diversity into these buildings around here. Down here in this little corner right here, we're going to have a provisions. It's basically going to be a food store where we probably have like a couple butchering villages and some other villages that we don't have room for anywhere else. Another place where we're going to do that is the miners' exchange. This is where we're going to probably have like a toolsmith, we're going to have armor smith, we're going to have all those great villages right here. And continuing off from that sort of thing right here, we're going to have a warehouse where we're going to store all of our mining goodies. We're going to have like bulk, stone, andesite, diorite, all of those lovely materials in this big warehouse. And when it comes to sort of lore and stuff about this village, there needs to be a place where we got all of this stone from, because pretty much every single house's rooftop is made of stone. So we're going to have a quarry over here in the corner, and that is also where all the resources are going to be going into the warehouse. So it's probably going to be a bit bigger than this, but there's a rough area of just where I'm going to do this. And we're going to dig this thing quite far underground. When it comes to a nether portal, I've decided that it's not really the best thing to have a little hole in the well that leads down to a room with the nether portal. Even though I was planning on decorating this thing, I don't think it'll do. So what I've got planned instead is if we just head over here, I was thinking we could put it up on the top of this cliff face. So it's kind of an overview of the village. When you first come in through the nether, you'll have like a bit of over cliff face, and then there'll probably be like a path winding its way down, and who knows, it'll pop off probably like around here, who knows, maybe over there a bit more. So the view from up there will look something along the lines of this. But of course this is above the tree, and it'll probably look a bit more like this from about here. But I feel like this gives a really cool sort of viewing point just to look at this lovely village that I've spent so much time in. And I love this thing. It's got so many little details here and there that it just makes the whole place come together even more. So let's start today off with the provision store sort of food shop we've got here. And I think it would be fun to do something we don't normally do, which is a bit of building on camera. Because I don't usually do that, I usually just hit straight to a time lapse, but I think it could be interesting to show the way I sort of build and the steps I like to take during a build. Out of habit here, I went up to my starter base here and realized that all the chests are empty and actually don't have really any resources in them. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to actually heading over to the bank now. So this is just going to be like my basic sort of build style. Nothing too special, no really special blocks or anything I'm going to use. But I'm just going to show you guys the process of how I build these things. So I like to start off with the pillars just to get down the basic shape. It's going to be a bit of a two-part building here. So we're going to have the upper half right here, along with these two bits here. That's going to be the upper bit. And then there's going to be a lower bit right here. And now we've got that basic shape down. So let's move on to the separate layers of bricks and things. So the first layer is the layer of bricks right here. And I think we're gonna have a little doorway right here, as well as a door right here. And we'll get some of the oak logs here, strip them down, and this is the doorway design that I use. For the third layer, I pretty much always use a layer of stripped oak. And now let's move on to this upper layer. This is what usually varies from design to design. But the normal is to either have sort of like a spruce, like that right there, or an oak up there. So since this is just meant to be like an average building here to display how I do all these things, I'm probably just going to stick with the oak right here. So now that is all in, let's move on to the roof before adding some more detail. Sometimes things like these make it a bit harder, where you can see here there is only one log, but there's two, like that. What I'm actually going to do just to correct this is I'm just going to add a log like that and strip that down so that it's the two just like there. And this right here is the roof shape that I usually use. I'm pretty sure, at least. I usually vary somewhat between all these roof designs, but this is what we're going to do for this one. So while I'm building this roof, why don't you tell me below in the comments whether you like seeing me build on camera. Of course, I'd probably do all the bigger builds in a time lapse, but for little buildings like this, would you like to see me build them on camera, or would you prefer just to see them all in a time lapse? Tell me below in the comments. And you can see now that section of the roof is complete, and let's move on to this section. So once again, we're going to go slab, stair, and that is actually going to intersect with this roof right here. I'm actually going to swap out the second stair here for a full block, because it makes it look a bit less weird in my opinion. So then for these little spots just back in here, we're going to throw some oak planks in. And now that the roofs are fully installed there, they might need a bit further editing just to look a bit less weird in some spots. But let's start adding in some of those details. Okay, this is a bit of a problem. I think I need to light this place up a little bit better because I've had a couple creepers spawn in here, and I really do not want them blowing up. And where all these kind of logs end, like here, instead of it just fading from that to that, I like to add a trapdoor there. And then I like to add a fence with that right there. And also at the bottom of each of these corners here, I like to add a oak slab here. Then if I got my glass here, I can throw those in there. And over here, where we're planning on having that window just up there. You can also throw in a oak trapdoor like that. That is a lovely window detail. And this right here is our finished product. So inside here, I've installed trapdoors instead of full doors so that the villagers can't open them and just run away and get eaten by zombies. But I've been working on leveling these guys up a bunch, and this is the interior. It's sort of a cafe sort of design, and I've worked into it a bunch of different workstations. Like I've got the what are these called? Smokers, as well as some barrels, and they have got some of those professions. So they've got a butcher, a leather worker, a fisherman, and another butcher. So another detail is that up here, we've got just a little bit of detail here, so I didn't just leave it completely empty. I just added a bit of a bed, and yeah, it was just a little lazy job, just so that it wasn't completely neglected. So I have been thinking, I can get pretty much every one of my items back fairly easily with a bit of time and some grinding, is to get all of these things back. The one thing that is very difficult for me to get back or to get more of is my trident. So what we're actually going to do now is we're going to make a Trident Farm. And after that, I think we'll probably start doing some more risky things, like maybe fight the Wither, because that way if I lose all my items, it isn't the biggest deal. But unfortunately for this design, we're going to need turtle eggs to make it quite effective, and so we're going to have to go and find some turtle eggs. Oh yes! Yes, it's working! Yes! So why don't we build this thing inside of a time lapse? We haven't done one of those today, and I think it could be pretty cool. So, let's hit the time lapse. And this farm works great. This is a design by Pixelcraft. I'll leave the design I used in the description. And I have AFK'd here overnight. So let's see how many drowns there are in this killing chamber. So here we are in the Nether. Let's see. Holy moly, there is a bunch. Let's see how many tridents we get. Oh my god, that's a bunch of tridents. So let's see. Oh, and we've got 3. We had 2 yesterday, so that's pretty good. Let's see. Okay, none in there, but still, that's... Oh, there's another one in here. 4 tridents. Oh, this is great. We need to start making a shop to sell those. And yes, that's right. These videos are no longer going to be 10 minutes, just because that's a bit too annoying to just keep up. So the way that this farm works is that all the drowns are lured towards here with these eggs. You can see right there with those turtle eggs. They are lured towards there, they go in, and then they get sucked into these bubbles, pushed up into these portals with these pistons, a lot of string machine thing, and then they push themselves and they walk out here, and this is the killing chamber. But that's gonna have to do it for today because we are completely out of video time. And if you enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe and tell me below in the comments I subscribed. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profane.